I can think throughout my lifetime, Joy, of people that I thought on the surface gave every evidence of having a picture perfect marriage, only to discover that once they got behind closed doors, it was a hell on earth kind of situation.
Them. And she was at the point of almost suicidal. She had no worth. He saw her as property.
And so there's a clear violation of the will of God, the heart of God, the image of God.
Sometimes can take years, to help a woman realize what she is in. Sometimes they don't even realize the depth of abuse that they're in.
A lot of times, by the time people are getting wind of it, these women are just now finding their voices and are saying it's enough. And they're quite frazzled when they make that first plea. And unfortunately, their abuser often comes across very calm and cool, and with a very different story.
Yeah. I wish I would have come out of seminary knowing all that I learned during that huge period of time. So that.
Well, I do think that we have justifiably come under criticism because, again, though our intentions were good, we did not handle things well, and that's been exposed.
Evidence and what I came to realize was that as soon as a person who's had this experience encounters somebody who's treating them like they themselves are a criminal, it's very hard for them to trust. It's very hard for them to be able to share their story, and it just really compounds the abuse that they've already experienced.
But when submission is forced upon another person, collectively, culturally, or personally, it ceases to be submission and becomes subjugation. And subjugation is oppression.
Both sides. I came to realize that treating a domestic abuse situation with more conventional marriage counseling was not helpful. Actually, it was actually counterproductive.
1 in 3 is a third of your congregation that could potentially be dealing with something like this. So this is not a one-off. This is not rare. This is something that is happening in all of our churches in pretty scary numbers.
Because as a church, as much as we want to, we can't be everything to everybody. And I would much rather partner with people who are doing it right instead of reinventing the wheel. So we are so thankful that you have this ministry.
So, with so many churches not speaking out against it, it just raises the question, if we're not going to speak out about it, who will?
We have to educate ourselves. Yeah. We can't just, maybe put our head in the sand and say, oh, this isn't happening in my church. And the statistics, I would beg to differ.
I think everybody that is going to touch counseling at all and church ministry at all, because it is more prominent in the church than you would ever believe, you need to get trained in this.
We're behind on the issues, and so Called to Peace, it's a ministry that is desperately needed in the churches.
Because you will encounter this situation and you will immediately find yourself saying, I don't know what to do here. And so one of the things I'm just really thankful for Called to Peace, for you guys' general ministry, for this conference, just for the personal relationship, is the ability to without judgment, call up and say, I don't really know I don't know what the right next move is, and have you guys who just have a lot more experience and have been thoughtful and a network. This is not just you guys going rogue, but I know you guys have a network of like-minded counselors and pastors who can just meet us right there and say, all right, let's serve the people who've come in our doors.
And so it's so helpful to have Called to Peace there to help me at that moment, who had been involved in this for so long. I think you guys were so helpful in pointing me to resources and then just being in the room.
In some situations, I found that the counsel and observations I might have made about a spouse or woman, the wife, were actually, my observations were used or weaponized when I wasn't there, and it actually gave ammunition to an abusive man. I think that's where you entered the picture. And you were very helpful to a lady, and we appreciated that. And as a result of that meeting and a couple of others, then we were able to put forward a plan